Have you ever heard the word recession thrown around on the news and wondered exactly what it means? It sounds scary, and for many it is scary, but understanding what a recession is and how it impacts you can help you navigate uncertain economic times. Let's break it down. Simply put, an economic recession is a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy, lasting more than a few months. It's not just a temporary slowdown, it's a contraction of the overall economy. But what does that actually mean? To understand that, we need to look at a few key indicators. The most common definition, used by the National Bureau of Economic Research, the official arbiter of U.S. recessions, centers around gross domestic product, or GDP. GDP is essentially the total value of all goods and services produced within a country. When GDP declines for 2 consecutive quarters, that's 6 months, many economists consider that a recession. However, it's not just about GDP. The NBER looks at a range of factors, including employment levels, real personal income, industrial production, and wholesale retail sales. A recession is a holistic picture of economic decline, not just one statistic. Now, why is this relevant, especially to a U.S. audience? Well, the U.S. has experienced recessions throughout its history. Some were short and mild, others were prolonged and devastating. Think back to the early 1980s, the dot-com bust in the early 2000s, or the Great Recession of 2008-2009. Each of these events had a significant impact on American lives. And recently, there's been a lot of discussion about a potential recession in 2023 and 2024, fueled by inflation and rising interest rates. Understanding what's happening and what could happen is crucial. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine a small town where everyone works at a furniture factory. Business is booming, people are getting paid well, and they're spending money at local shops and restaurants. This is economic expansion. Now, imagine suddenly people start losing interest in buying furniture. Maybe housing sales slow down or people decide to delay big purchases. The factory has to lay off workers. Those laid-off workers have less money to spend, so they cut back on dining out, entertainment, and other purchases. This impacts the local restaurants and shops, who then might have to lay off their employees. This ripple effect, spreading throughout the economy, is a simplified version of how a recession can start and spread. Another example could be a drop in consumer confidence. If people become worried about the future, they tend to save more and spend less. This decrease in spending leads to lower demand for goods and services, forcing businesses to reduce production and potentially lay off workers. What are the typical effects of a recession? Let's break down a few key areas. First, unemployment rises. As businesses struggle, they often reduce their workforce, leading to job losses. This is often the most visible and immediate impact of a recession. Second, business investment declines. Companies become hesitant to invest in new projects or expansion when they are uncertain about the future. They prioritize preserving capital rather than taking risks. Third, consumer spending drops. With job losses and economic uncertainty, people tend to cut back on discretionary spending, focusing on essential needs. Fourth, the stock market often falls. While not a perfect predictor, the stock market often reflects investor sentiment and can decline during a recession. Fifth, housing markets can weaken. Job losses and economic uncertainty can lead to a decrease in housing demand and potentially falling prices. Now, it's important to note that not all recessions are created equal. Some are relatively mild and short-lived, while others are severe and prolonged. The severity of a recession depends on a variety of factors, including the underlying causes, the government's response, and global economic conditions. Governments and central banks often take steps to try to mitigate the effects of a recession. These can include lowering interest rates to encourage borrowing and investment, increasing government spending to stimulate demand, and providing unemployment benefits to support those who have lost their jobs. These interventions aren't always effective and often come with their own set of challenges, but they're designed to cushion the blow and help the economy recover. So to recap, a recession is a significant decline in economic activity lasting more than a few months. It's measured by factors like GDP, employment, and consumer spending. It affects individuals and businesses alike, leading to job losses, reduced investment, and decreased consumer spending. Governments and central banks may intervene to try to soften the impact. Understanding these dynamics can help you make informed financial decisions and navigate economic uncertainty. Remember, this information is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as financial advice. Always consult with a qualified financial professional before making investment decisions.